From 40 states and 5 foreign countries, over 2,500 dogs have been entered, all of them previous blue ribbon winners, and many of them champions. Each contestant is looking for a Westminster win. All over the main floor, the judging of individual breeds is proceeding. In this ring, it's the English Springer Spaniels, where Judge Clyde Heck is in charge. The Gray Ghosts of the sporting group, Weimar Honors, circle around Judge Alfred Putnam. It might be noted here, as dog experts well know, that the skill of handlers is an extremely important asset in a show like this. A good handler can make a good dog look even better. The happy handler is Johnny Davis, and the winning owner, Irma Muster of Bensonville, Illinois. Her champion, Gourmet Sardar, takes the breed ribbon. What a profile. Looking down on ring number 12, we see the Boston Terriers doing their light fantastic for Judge Robert Griffing. A Cincinnati entry owned by Mrs. Celeste Schulte and handled by Albert Rosenblum. Champion B.B. Kems of Fellow takes breed honors. Boxers are another popular entry. 95 of them compete in the opening round under the famous breeder judge from England, Mrs. C. Wilson Wiley. Blue ribbon Kerry Blue Terriers step lively before Judge Terence Bresnahan. After looking them over carefully, he gives best of breed to champion Townshend's Blue Blaze, handled by Rick Chazudian. Rough collies have the largest entry in the show. Mrs. Harold Tharp of Carmel, Indiana, must judge 102 of these beautiful dogs. 159 dachshunds are entered, 89 of the smooth variety. Judge John Seafen studies them carefully on their down-to-earth locomotion. One of the smallest of the toy group is the Ancient Dog of Malta. 19 Maltese compete in this edition of Westminster. Judge Gordon Parham is arbiter of the highly popular Beagles. Here we see the competition of those under 13 inches. Hey you're in the movies. First to face the second round of elimination are the hound breed winners. The whole arena is the setting now as the Afghan, Shurkan of Grandeur. The first hound ever to win the Westminster Best in Show in 1957 is gated by co-owner Sonny Shea. Here comes the finest of the Basset Hounds, champion the Rings Banshee. She's owned by Chris Teeter of Birmingham, Michigan, and handled by Frank Hardy. The winning Basenji, champion Bettina Zoribi, owned, bred, and handled by Mrs. Ward of Middleburg, Virginia. The Rhodesian Ridgeback is champion Lamard Pero Cuango, owned by Carlos Leonard of Dayton, Ohio. As two Beagle handlers talk things over, Judge William Brainerd examines the Otter Hound Lugina Viking, owned by Leon Fry of Gloversville, New York. Steady as she goes. As Judge Brainerd takes his final look at all of the breed winners in the hound group, everyone eagerly awaits his decision. Is the Basset Hound, the Rings Banshee. Another look at the winner, Banshee. Only 2 years old, she's quite a girl. Next, the non-sporting group is judged. George Beckett of East Haven, Connecticut, will make the placements. A real trooper is champion Bouquet Nouvelle Amie. Mr. and Mrs. Ralph West French Bulldog has been best of breed here for 8 years in a row. Champion Lloyd Jean's China Boy, the best of the Chow Chows. He's owned by Mr. and Mrs. Floyd Messer of Redmond, Washington. Strutting again for our camera and the judge is Alikai Kennel's standard poodle, Tambourine du La Fontaine. champion Vardona Frosty Snowman Bulldog, and last year's runner-up for Best in Show. Dr. Edward Varden of Detroit is his owner, breeder and handler, and Frosty is his pride. The Lasso Opso is one of the many winning entries from the West Coast. Champion Hamilton Catha, owned by Mrs. John Lycos of Beverly Hills. The big crowd awaits the results. Who will be the top 4 of this variety group? Frosty Snowman does it again. Dr. Varden's Great Bulldog will battle later for Best in Show. Vardona Frosty Snowman. In a somewhat smaller circle because of their size, the toy group winners move around the judge, Dr. Vincenzo Calvarisi of Bedford, Massachusetts. 17 breeds are represented here, 8 of them Best in Show winners. Here's champion El Juquetis Texana, the smooth coat Chihuahua of Mrs. David Krause. Stepping our way is the Italian Greyhound, champion Ulysses du Peltringo of Winterly, owned by Janet Bennett. Another outstanding California dog is this Pomeranian, champion Ryder Sparkling Gold Nugget, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Porter Washington and handled by Mr. Washington. Next, the renowned champion Chick Son of Kaversham. This extraordinary Pekingese is owned by the C.C. Venables of Atlanta. In 3 years campaigning with handler Clara Alford, he set a world record for Best in Show, 125. After one long last look, Dr. Calvaresi will be ready to name the 4 top toys. His choice for first is Chick Son, who will now move on to the final. Another nice look at the winner. Back to the group judging. The working dogs come up under Judge Francis Fleitman of Switzerland. The Cardigan Welch Corgi is Rees, owned by Jeanette Walker of Rutherford, New Jersey. There's champion Pixie Dell Bright Vision, the Shetland Sheepdog, bred, owned, and handled by Donna Houseman, and a winner over a large class of specials. Trotting toward us is the Pembroke Welch Corgi, champion Cotoneige Sundew, owned by Mrs. William B. Long of Concord, Massachusetts. The standard Schnauzer is Edian's Water Witch, owned by Russell and Patricia Knighty of Maplewood, New Jersey. The Samoyed. This is 2-year-old Leka Kim, owned and handled by Leo Poirier of Detroit, the snowy white breed from the Arctic. Champion Jaro van Schleidenplatz, a Rottweiler with a good Rottweiler name. He's owned by Charles McKelvey of Cedar Hill Kennels in Chalfont, Pennsylvania, and handled by John Hauser. Two heads over an old English sheepdog. He's champion Fezziwig Ceiling Zero, the entry of Hendrik and Sarita Van Rensselaer of Summit, New Jersey. Ed Carver holds the leash. The Newfoundland takes the spotlight. This is champion Dryad's Seaman's Lookout, bred and handled by Mrs. Maynard Drury and owned by Dr. W.B. McLaren of Locust Valley, Long Island. Once again, the winning boxer, champion Marquam Hills Comanche. He's the son of champion Bangaway of Syrah Crest, and his handler is Jane Camp. The Alaskan Malamute is champion Husky Pack in Chaco. He belongs to George Schrader of Wausau, Wisconsin, and he's handled by Hollis Wilson. winners. The Pembroke Welch Corgi takes the #1 spot. Cotonnet Sundu. Now it's the turn of the Terrier group. The Norwich Terrier is champion Upland Spring Queen Bess. Mrs. Howe Lowe of Philadelphia is the breeder and owner. Blanche Reig of Wantagh, Long Island is the breeder, owner, and handler of champion Blenheart Bewitching, a 3-year-old Scottish Terrier with a sparkling record. Another Hawaiian entry is Mrs. Chester Caldwell's West Highland Terrier, Wolve Piper's son. Bob Gorman handles him on his bouncy stride across the arena. Focus now on the Bedlington Terrier. Mrs. Aquino Meyer of New Orleans is the owner of champion Gay Blades Gimmick, and P.F. Norwood leads him through his garden performance. The Staffordshire Terrier is champion expert Pedro Escopeta. He's owned by Dr. Carol Roll of Louisville, Kentucky, and handled by Clint Harris. The winning White Bull Terrier is champion Radar of Montier, entered by Dr. Howard Doble of Baltimore. Walter Goodman of Glamour Kennels in New York City shows his Skye Terrier, champion Evening Star de Luchar. Eve is a short dog with a long record of best in shows and groups. General McKinley takes one more searching look at the top contenders before he makes his placements. No easy task, for this is a fine terrier group. His mind is made up. He gives the prize to Blanche Reig's Scottish Terrier. According to the General, Blenheart Bewitching is just like a pretty lady. She has everything she needs in the right amounts. The sporting group judging is underway. Dr. Joseph E. Redden of East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, stands in the middle of the ring to get his first general impressions of the breed winners going around him. Here's the Black and Tan Cocker representing the Ascot variety. He's champion Pine Top's Fancy Parade, owned by William LaFoon Jr. and Mrs. Rose Robbins, and handled by Norman Austin. The English Setter is champion English Accent of Valley Run, owned by Mrs. Charles Van Buren of New Canaan, Connecticut, and handled by Art Baines. Champion Boyfie of Willow Creek is the Irish Water Spaniel. He belongs to Marge and Floyd Crow of Cleveland, Ohio. Here's a first-timer in the sporting group. The German wire-haired pointer was just recognized by the American Kennel Club in March of 1959. Old Mills Casanova has the honor of making the breed's debut here. He's owned by Newton L. Compere of Lake Forest, Illinois. The Golden Retriever is champion Ginwald's High Flyer. Marcia Rosenberger of Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, is his proud owner. The pointer is Elizabeth Streeter's champion Tara's Southern Comfort, Roy Holloway handling. Well, who will it be? Let's join Dr. Redden for another good look of our own at some of the champions of the sporting group. Here comes the judge. That Black and Tan Cocker, Pine Top's Fancy Parade, takes the top award. Second place, Dr. Samuel Milbank, Secretary of the Westminster Kennel Club and left, joins the victors' party. Here's the grand finale of our 1960 Westminster Classic. The top representatives of the 6 groups of dogdom come up to be judged for the most coveted prize of all, Best in Show. Judge George Hartman of Lampeter, Pennsylvania, looks over first the Pekingese. Little Chick Son has never looked finer. As he and Clara Alford move across the ring, you can almost feel the tension. 56 pounds of solid bulldog as Frosty Snowman waddles just the way he's supposed to waddle. He was best American bred last year at Westminster. Now the youngest lady present, 2-year-old Banshee, the cover girl of the Basset breed. And does she do them proud? Pine Top's Fancy Parade, the black and tan Cocker Spaniel. Just look at him move across the garden floor. A picture of flowing action. Here's Blenheart Bewitching, just as poised and as pretty as when she walked off with her victory over all the other terriers. Nice going, little girl. Now the Pembroke Welch Corgi, Côte de Neige Sundew, smallest dog of the working group, but a mighty big performer here. He seems loaded with the instinct of good showmanship. Well, we've seen all 6, and pity the poor judge. He has to make the big decision. It's the Pekingese. Clara Alford and Chick Son finally win the grandest prize of dogdom. Best in Show at Westminster. What a thrill this must be. Best in Show at the 1960 Westminster.